Hey guys, long time no see, but do you know that Berserk has returned once more, and therefore I'm forced by God to make this review? Hope you guys read it, cause we're diving in hard. Berserk, chapter 362. This chapter was such an unexpected nugget of lore that my jaw was agape the actual entire time. And still is. It flew by so quickly too. By the end I thought the chapter had only spanned like 5 pages. There's so much to talk about. First off, and perhaps most importantly, God Hand. Yeah, God Hand. Z God Hand. But not Z God Hand we all know and love. Not Conrad, Slan, Ubik, Fimto, and Void. But 4 different guys. And also Void. Which answers what everyone always assumed. Void was the OG, the oldest of the bunch, and seemingly at the head of the operation even back then? Or perhaps put in the center by Miura because he knows that's the thing we'd want to see. He could be the newbie, but really, we don't know. Even with Void being the leader now, Fimto has been shown front and center as well, so. Many have assumed they were God Hand before our current iteration, but no one knew for sure. Well, now we do. 900 God Hand is real. Wait, I guess I should rewind to the beginning of the chapter. Sorry, I'm just so danged excited. Guts got bonked and his Berk armor went berk. Friggin' awesome page. They pin him down with some chains. Dwarf and the Skull Knight seem unfazed. Shirka asks what's going on, and Honar tells us he's planning on showing him one of the armor's memories, which apparently you can do. Geyseric's blood stained the armor so good that Guts can resorb that blood into his brain. Guts becomes bonked once again, and the tale of the end of King Geyseric begins. Cut to a familiar setting, yet still foreign in so many ways. We see 5 figures in the background, and remember, this is 1,000-ish years ago, and Godhand are born every 216 years, so why the F are there already 5 figures in the background? Well, I already said how at the beginning of this review because I was too excited, but anyway, the literal Vortex of Souls appears to be present, unlike in the Eclipse where an eclipse was present, not the Vortex. But you know, now that I think about it, the Vortex has a very strong resemblance to an eclipse, which is maybe an obvious observation, but I'd never considered it before. The Eclipse is like a symbolic Vortex of Souls. But yeah, this seems archaic, like the God Hand and their ceremonies haven't been fully fleshed out yet. Unrefined. Just tentacles? Where are the giant faces, Miura? And hello, the giant hand? How is the God Hand supposed to bless me with a fist bump now, huh? It appears there are still apostles of sorts, or at least some demonic entities, and they're going about their typical slaughterous ways. And then we see the 5 figures a little closer, and I started to think while reading, something is flipping off about these silhouettes. Even though these guys couldn't have existed yet, first dude is obviously Griffith, and then Ubik, and then Void, my man, and then, Slan without hair? And then Godhand knows what my brain thought with that last silhouette. Conrad must have hit different 1,000 years ago. But no, frick, bombshell, new Godhand. Well, new to us, old Godhand. We have Crystal Ganeshka, Screaming Lizard Freak, Void, obvious Virginia Mouth, and Maleficent Raspberry. My mouth's still obviously agape at this point, question after question plorped into my noggin, but none of them coherent, just internal blathering. I kept reading. Guts gets triggered by the image and lunges forward, breaking his chains, but he stops cold. We get this amazing side-by-side of Geyseric and Guts, one holding Griffith somehow, and one holding nothing. Guts is seeing Skull Knight lose, not Griffith, but his love. She's branded and doomed to the Vortex of Souls for an eternity. Geyseric's eyes might say more than we currently realize. The pain must be unimaginable. The pain. The loss. Is this another case of betrayal? Did Void just incarnate after sacrificing her along with many others, and he was truly the wise man of legend? Was it Geyseric's fault? Only Miura knows. And then the woman dies, I guess, in Skull Knight's arms, and some blood spills over his eye, much like a Major Guts moment, and also Brand in the background, Major Berserk moment. They comment on how Guts just stopped abruptly, so Shirka decides to pull him out. I love how Miura shows her hand not grabbing the Skull Knight version of the armor by the earpiece, even though she is in the physical world. Cool little attention to detail, but as we all know, Miura is detail. Guts is pulled free. Skull Knight says, "What you bore witness to was the end of a foolish king, and the beginning of a dead man stalking the endless night." Such words. Obviously by dead, he's implying he literally died here, and was soon after placed within his current Skull Knighty body. But it's definitely more than that. He lost his soul when his love died. But what if it's even more than that, too? Maybe he's so dead from that point onward because he was the cause of all this. His love dying, him dying, his kingdom falling, through some foolhardy actions as Berserko King. So, Berkos, great chapter. Over too soon. Epic chapter of epic proportions. But there's still so much to talk about. Back to the God Hand. Something seems strange to me, and should to you, too. What the F happened to these guys? Did Geyserich kill them all? Hunt them down and actually slay some God Hand? Or do they just expire at some point? Perhaps existing on a different level of the astral plane after a set amount of time. And this guy is still out there somewhere, looking like this. I want to think that Skull Knight pulled it off. He has actually taken down 4 God Hand in his past. He's the baller we all knew he was. I really hope that to be the case, but if so, then how? Behelit's sword? Did Behelit's even exist at this point in time? And why has it been so long since he's killed one? Hundreds of years have passed since a God Hand has died, presumably. I'm sure we'll find out all this soon. If you just look at this eclipse-ish event, everything is a parallel. SK is Guts, Void is Femto, and Girl is Girl. And with Berserk being all spirally and cyclical in nature, that would fit quite well. But I'm willing to bet my life that something is not as it seems. As I mentioned before, I think Skull Knight made a bad choice. Unlike Guts' case where, well, he didn't really do anything wrong. But maybe Skull Knight succumbed to some sort of greed that led him here. He's already willingly wearing the Berserk armor at this point, so in my mind he's clearly power hungry, and he's been among the magical ways for some time. Guts' only magical experiences were Zod and Chich up to this point in life. Famous Berserk lore expert seems to like the idea that not only was Void created here, but the other 4 as well. A massive 5 God Hand ceremony. Perhaps this event was the literal first time the God Hand came to be. The Wise Man and 4 of his closest cohorts ascending together, becoming the first of their kind. And then 80% of them proceed to be mowed down over the next 100 years by a skeleton. Makes Skull Knight being able to kill these guys a bit more believable. They're all fresh recruits, not 5 ancient beings with supreme knowledge. Still powerful, but not fully capable. And that way Void can be both a newbie and also the leader. Totally on board with that theory. Perhaps once the last of Void's crew got slain, he wished for replacements, and the idea of evil did what the idea of evil does, setting into motion the newbie every 216 years business. I love it. I really love it. I honestly just can't get over how amazing this chapter was. I really hope we get a new one soon. But until then, tell me your thoughts, please. And may the God Hand bless you with a tentacle plus a vortex or something. Yeah, since you know, no hand.